An Anzac Day unlike any in our lifetimes as Sydney families light up the dawn. Tonight, honour from home, diggers on driveways and moving tributes across the city as isolated Aussies pause to remember. Services filled with spirit, but not the crowds. The Prime Minister leads the nation through a very different Anzac Day. Eerily empty on the Western Front and barely a soul in Gallipoli. How these sacred sites commemorated today. Plus, fears at another aged care home, a worker positive for coronavirus, families being notified, and keeping traditions alive. Takeaway beer and virtual tour from lockdown.
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Michael Usher.
Good evening. This Anzac Day will be remembered with great pride for years to come. Out of isolation, disruption and adversity, we began a new tradition, a new deeply personal way of honouring our diggers. Across Sydney, wherever we could, driveways, backyards or balconies, the Anzac spirit found new meaning with respect paid in solitude. A new dawn for the legacy of our fallen.
From the bridge to the house to our homes. At the break of dawn, Australians stood apart together, street after street of flickering candles illuminating the spirit of the Anzac. From our railway stations, gathered by roads, in driveways and on balconies, silence swept through our suburbs and towns as a country in lockdown honoured the nation's fallen. From Balmain to the airport runway, the Hunter Valley, Warriewood and beyond. Trumpets, trombones, saxophones, guitars, even a piano accordion. From Sydney to Brisbane to Melbourne, a nation in harmony, socially distanced over thousands of kilometres, ended with a great silence. A moment in time to remember those who gave everything. As the pandemic physically forces us apart, people continue to find ways to come together and share special moments. Even though this ceremony is far from traditional, it will be remembered.
It's in the minds, in the hearts.
Rather unusual, but beautiful.
Yeah, it brings back a lot of memories.
They shall grow not old.
At Coffs Harbour, Vietnam veteran Bill Roffey used a computer to broadcast to the street below his home.
2020 Anzac Day, very special, probably a once-in-a-lifetime thing. It won't ever happen again.
At Canamble in the state's west, locals had speakers mounted to a boom to send a clear message.
We were very determined to have a service.
It was very important to me.
Later, decorated heroes confined to a nursing home were honoured with a drive past.
Technology, mate.
Zoom has replaced the pub catch-up this year.
You're always in your buddy bar.
As comrades are toasted tonight, it's also been a chance for families to honour their own heroes. Vietnam vet Rocky Gazina was surprised with a shrine of candles and poppies.
This is beautiful, unexpected and emotional. Yeah. It's not about wars, it's about peace. Hoping we don't have another one.
Molly Hogan's at the War Memorial in Hyde Park tonight. Molly, good evening. An official service was held there this morning, but obviously the public were asked to keep away.
Michael, they were, and the service heard that was a decision that was not made lightly. It was done to protect the veterans and the general public from coronavirus. The ban on mass gatherings did change the way we commemorated today, but it did not make those services any less special or significant. The usual mass crowds in Sydney were today replaced by a small, solemn event with the public invited to take part from their living rooms.
A minute's silence at Sydney's War Memorial and Cenotaph. a scaled-back commemoration echoing one of the first Anzac Days.
In the months after the end of World War I, as soldiers, sailors and nurses were returning home, the world succumbed to another enemy, the Spanish flu.
Preventing marches and parades for returning veterans. 101 years on, the state service seen only on our screens.
I encourage you to join us at home in this special act of remembrance.
The solemn words of a Gallipoli veteran read by the Premier.
These long forgotten dead with sunken graves, some crossless with unwritten memories. Their only mourners are the moaning waves.
Today, the fallen, not forgotten. The day taking on renewed significance.
With courage let us all combine to advance Australia fair.
At the time the dawn service would typically commence, the cenotaph in Martin Place uncommonly bare.
They were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow.
But as day broke, people came little by little to remember.
Australians were reminded that in this time of crisis, we can honour the Anzacs by sharing their values. That right now, it's our duty to unite and protect the vulnerable with the same courage, endurance, ingenuity and good humour.
We pull together with the Anzac spirit. It is like fighting a war and we all do it together.
Our Governor laying a single wreath on behalf of the state, remembering the past with a nod to the future.
Let us look forward to the warm handshakes, the proud countenances and the camaraderie, which we will enjoy again.
In the skies over Sydney, a military flyover showing what can be achieved when individuals work together, staying the course and keeping their distance. Angela Cox, 7 News.
The Prime Minister's urged Australians to remain united in the face of the pandemic in honour of the Anzac spirit. He delivered a message of hope at the Australian War Memorial in Canberra, where the dawn service was more intimate than ever before.
Dawn at the tomb of the unknown soldier and a new Anzac Day. The National Service, a solemn, powerful but contained tribute to those who made the great sacrifice. The War Memorial hosting a select few for a service meant to stir the Anzac legacy in living rooms across the country.
Fathers and sons, mothers and daughters, sisters and brothers, who gave their lives for this country and the people they loved.
The Prime Minister paying his respects, as well Governor-General David Hurley, Defence Force Chief Angus Campbell and Opposition Leader Anthony Albanese. The service, an echo from 101 years ago. Then the Spanish flu, more deadly than the Western Front, killed 50 million and kept troops returning from the Great War away from Anzac gatherings.
There were no dignitaries, no bands, just the sound of lapping water on a lonely shore. One said of that little service, it was the real thing.
In 1942, as Japan bombed northern Australia, Anzac Day changed again.
There are no mass gatherings, there are no large concentrations of people getting together for Anzac Day.
At the memorial, returned soldiers marched, but the public stayed away, barely recognisable from the modern-day turnouts as the legend passed 100 years. Now, Anzac confronts its second pandemic. No crowds. In fact, here they concede the virus is reinventing the day. The really big crowds might never need to come back.
We may look back in 2020 and think, oh, how quaint. This is when we started to just commemorate at home. This is when our commemoration went digital.
The Governors-General of Australia and New Zealand joined for a both sides of the ditch Anzac message.
David and I acknowledge the enduring bonds forged between our two countries by the Anzacs.
We are proud of our Anzac forebears. Let us make them proud of us.
The day changed, but undimmed.
Australians all, lest we forget.
Tim Lester, 7 News.
Sacred sites around the world, usually packed with pilgrims, were eerily quiet this Anzac Day. This is a live shot at Gallipoli, a place that on this day would usually be teeming with Australians. As you can see, it's empty. While crowds weren't allowed, plenty of individuals woke before dawn to carry on the tradition.
A lone tribute on the Western Front, sombre, silent, for such a very different reason. Villas Bretonner, eerily empty, sacred ground where so many Australians lie, not a person in sight. The mayor here is in a coma with coronavirus. But the nearby towns always remember. They just did it in different ways, like so many of us paying tribute from home. In Gallipoli, where Australians sleep, then stand shoulder to shoulder each year, just 3 masked faces. And a single wreath as the sun rose over Anzac Cove.
In 2020, with the virus going around the world, it's even more special.
No one forgot. From a Paris balcony, a bugler from the French Republican Guard plays alone. And at Menengate in Belgium, just a handful came to the memorial where hundreds usually gather every night. In the Middle East, those still serving remembered the soldiers before them at dawn, live streamed on Facebook. And beneath the sky, like nowhere else, wreaths laid on Antarctic ice. Australian teams already in extreme isolation, able to stand a little closer than most.
And Hugh Whitfield joins me live now from London. Hugh, good evening. Some incredible images there out of Europe. It's quiet there too.
Yeah, Michael, normally hundreds of Aussie and Kiwi expats and tourists would be gathered here at the Australian War Memorial at Hyde Park Corner in London for a dawn service, often attended by members of the royal family. It obviously hasn't happened this year. Instead, the Australian High Commissioner George Brandis and his New Zealand counterpart will be hosting a special online service from their homes. It'll be streamed on Facebook in a few hours. It is London that many diggers came to before beginning their journeys home at the end of the First World War. It is certainly a place where Australian sacrifice is never forgotten. Michael.
Indeed, Hugh. Hugh Whitfield there in London. Thank you. Well, it's a tradition as old as Anzac Day itself, and lockdown or no lockdown, nothing could stop the annual two-up tournaments across the suburbs. The pubs may have been empty, but punters were as eager as ever as the game went online for the first time.
Your pick for the day?
Making the best of these unusual times, an Anzac Day tradition given a new spin.
It's good spin, good spin.
Oh, that's
three heads, 3 heads.
Pubs usually packed with people spilling onto suburban streets hosted virtual two-up, their patrons online. Former SAS commander Heston Russell is part of the trend, tossing coins for the Swiss 8 app, run by veterans to support mental health. Staff at Bella Vista Hotel have never done this without a crowd before.
Hand them up. Oh, it's a good throw.
Their drive-through line for pre-mixed cocktails, draft beer and food out the door.
We've popped down here to get some poppy cocktails. Definitely different celebrations for us.
And our whole street was up.
And while RSLs told people to stay home, that didn't stop them playing two-up in their own backyards.
Hand them up.
For some, the stakes weren't quite as high as they are in the pub.
20 total. There you go.
And kids, are you getting the hang of two-up?
I still don't understand it, but I will eventually, and it's going to be fun.
The Dixons also invited a low-risk guest.
I brought Len along, giving him a good wipe down before we played. He's very sanitised well.
While Anzac Day is traditionally one of the biggest days of the year for the now struggling hospitality industry, many pubs like Bella Vista here aren't keeping all of their profits, instead passing them on to veterans' charities.
Go through to Legacy to make a donation.
Those who aren't old enough to donate are already learning the Anzac way. Tom Saker, 7 News.
Well, it's supposed to be a morning filled with spirit and remembrance, but for residents in Western Sydney, it was frightening and a rude awakening. A man went on a rampage through Ermington, armed with a hammer and a piece of wood. It is lucky no one was hurt.
It was not a bugle that awoke Bartlett Street, Ermington. At the break of dawn, it was the breaking of glass.
Banging on the bonnet of the cars with one stick, and the
piece of steel in the other.
The 61-year-old lives on the street, casually walking from car to car, shop to shop, for hundreds of metres, up one side, then down the other. When police arrived, witnesses say he threatened them with a hammer and pole, then demanded they read him his rights.
Someone's just gone mad, I guess.
Half a dozen shops were damaged, more than 20 cars. Anthony Howard Santi's family copped the worst of it.
3 cars were damaged, my partner's car, her mother's car and her father's car.
Ron Hawkins was on his driveway honouring the Anzacs.
I told him not to be a silly bugger.
And I missed the ode as a result of it. I was quite angry about the disrespect.
While some of the people we spoke with today are undoubtedly furious about the timing of this, and many others are angry at what's happened to them, they're not necessarily angry at the man who's done it. They don't see this as an act of malice, rather the actions of a disturbed man.
You could tell the look in his eye.
That he wasn't well?
Yeah, mental health issues.
The poor guy, he's not been assessed properly, he's not been checked out properly.
The man responsible was not taken away in a police van, rather an ambulance. He is being assessed, and those who tried to stop him are grateful this did not become an Anzac Day tragedy.
Do you think the guy was dangerous?
Yes.
Robert Ovadia, 7 News.
Around 170 Australian and New Zealand residents stranded in South America are preparing to board a Qantas rescue flight home. They'll board the Dreamliner jet tonight after being stuck overseas by this global health crisis.
What I'm very excited about is seeing the look on the people's faces as they approach the aeroplane, see that great big kangaroo on the tail, and hopefully make them feel like they're just about home.
That flight will arrive in Melbourne tomorrow. A female worker at an aged care home in the Blue Mountains has tested positive to COVID-19, sparking fears of a new outbreak. In the last 24 hours, 12 new cases have been confirmed in our state. And at the beaches, once again, the crowds could not stay away.
Catholic Healthcare Boddington at Wentworth Falls, the latest nursing home to be caught up in a coronavirus lockdown. Residents confined to their rooms after a female staff member tested positive yesterday.
It's a trigger for New South Wales Health and of course our federal government colleagues to implement what is necessary in terms of the tracing.
But authorities say for now it's just a precaution. The staff member away from work 2 days before showing symptoms. The Health Minister, meanwhile, hitting out at crowds that flocked to beaches today.
Disappointment and agitation that people are disregarding the very strong message of social distancing.
Coogee this morning closed. Police brought in to clear away those at Bondi breaking the rules.
Unfortunately, there is a very small number who continue to flout the rules.
There's been 12 new cases overnight, 4 of those at Newmarch House where the spread continues. 48 there have now tested positive. Authorities resisting calls from families to remove healthy residents from the facility and put them into quarantine, insisting they're better off here.
We want to do what's best for the residents and the staff there, and often it's best to stay in your home because this is people's homes.
New South Wales Health urging people to be tested, even for the slightest of symptoms.
I have been tested in the past.
Cameron Price, 7 News.
Adelaide Airport has become the latest to block Virgin Australia aircraft over outstanding bills. 7 planes are being held by the airport, which claims it's owed $10 million. It follows a decision made yesterday by airport management in Perth to block 4 jets with front-end loaders. Today, Qantas came to the defence of Virgin Australia, slamming the behaviour as, quote, ridiculous and extraordinary. Well, time now for a check on our weather. Here's Brownie.
Thanks very much, Michael. Plenty of sunshine today and just a gentle northerly breeze as forecast. And yes, another warm day is lining up Sunday. In fact, temperature-wise, the city managed a high of 24.9 degrees by late morning. You'll notice it was warmer in Penrith. That happened much later in the day. Across the state, well, it's been a fine Saturday and quite a warm afternoon, as we can see from those observed maximum temperatures. But there is a change on the way. Clouds starting to increase. But most of your Sunday is looking fine and warm. The change should reach us after sunset, and as it moves through, the odd coastal shower is likely. 7-day forecast in detail, top of the hour, Michael.
Terrific, David, thank you. Well, he was picked up in a dramatic raid accused of fighting with terror groups in Syria. Now the terror suspect's been moved to hospital under police guard. What he claims is wrong. That's next. Also, vandals attacked the home of that Porsche driver involved in a deadly Melbourne crash. The Sussex showdown heads to court. First details as Meghan Markle takes on the tabloids. Is Kim Jong-un gravely ill? Reports China's dispatched an expert team as rumours swirl. And soon in sport, our footy stars and a lone bugler with an Anzac tribute at the MCG.
No case has ever been like this. Each family member, all prime suspects.
Did you murder your father?
Witness every bizarre development. Family of Suspects, Sunday.
Employees of Budget Direct. Over 20 years, you have become the country's most award-winning insurer, providing top-notch cover for more than 3 million Australians.
It's a start. 22 million to go. Will you help people get a better deal on their car insurance?
Will you fight to save Australians on their home insurance? No, Karen. She loves saving people money.
Who are you?
Proudly saving Australians on insurance for 20 years. Budget Direct. Insurance solved.
Introducing the new GS20 Ultra 5G, Samsung's best 5G phone on Australia's best 5G. Available now with no excess data charges in Australia when you add to any month-to-month mobile plan.
When your hair's not weighed down, you can do the day. Introducing new Pantene 0% silicone. Unlike silicone found in ordinary shampoos, new Pantene has nourishing lipids. The difference is clear. New Pantene 0% silicone formula gives you lightweight, smooth hair that lasts through to the next day. Do 0% silicone. Do new Pantene.
Domain stores are open. Our team are taking care to ensure everyone's safety in store. Shop for the essentials like mattresses, Manchester, sofa beds, home office furniture and more. Our range includes the best of Australian-made furniture and bedding. Make it yours and lend local manufacturers your support. Plus, you can buy on no deposit 60 months interest free at Domain and receive a bonus gift card up to the value of $300. We're here for you in every way. Domain stores are open.
At Nature's Own, we've spent over 40 years building our knowledge of the body. We know just 3 millimetres of knee cartilage could be the difference between a night on the couch and a 5K run. And that B vitamins help turn your food into energy. You can be cool! Because the more we understand our bodies, the more we can unlock our natural potential. Nature's Own. Be body smart.
We're pregnant!
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. I love
it. Employees of Budget Direct. Over 20 years, you have become the country's most award-winning insurer, providing top-notch cover for more than 3 million Australians.
It's a start. 22 million to go. Will you help people get a better deal on their car insurance?
Will you fight to save Australians on their home insurance? No, Karen. She loves saving people money.
Who are you?
Proudly saving Australians on insurance for 20 years. Budget Direct. Insurance solved.
Tasty, affordable and delicious. What's for dinner in the next break with Coles?
The home of the Porsche driver accused of fleeing the scene of a deadly police crash in Melbourne has been vandalised. The word "die" was spray painted across Richard Pusey's garage door. The 41-year-old mortgage broker has been put in protective custody after he was condemned by senior police and politicians over allegations he taunted a dying officer in the aftermath of that crash. A man charged after allegedly fighting for an Al-Qaeda-linked Syrian terrorist group for months at a time has been taken to hospital, complaining of breathing difficulties. Tactical police arrested the 44-year-old in a car park near Bankstown. That was yesterday morning. He faces dozens of charges, including 2 counts of engaging in hostile activity in a foreign state. Meghan Markle has accused a London tabloid of an agenda to offend her as she sues one paper for breaching her privacy. Allegations made by the Duchess are now being aired in court for the first time as the Sussexes embark on a series of what could be lengthy and costly court battles against the British press.
When they emerged a married couple in 2018, they looked happy. But a private family drama was simmering away and has now boiled over into court proceedings. A pre-trial hearing as Meghan sues the Mail on Sunday for publishing a letter she sent to her father, Thomas. The paper is hoping to have elements of the royals' case struck out, including her claim Thomas was harassed, humiliated, manipulated and exploited by the tabloid. Its lawyers questioning how she could know if they haven't spoken in nearly 2 years. Meghan's team telling the court the estrangement between father and daughter had been stirred up by articles published last February. Her privacy had been breached and the paper had acted dishonestly. The hearing was held online, lawyers dialing in via video chat with the judge here in London. Also listening in, Harry and Meghan from their new home in LA. The judge is yet to decide what evidence will make it to the trial, which could still be months away. In London, Hugh Whitfield, 7 News.
China has reportedly sent a team of medical experts to North Korea to check on the health of the supreme leader there, Kim Jong-un. The trip comes following conflicting reports about the seriousness of his condition, ranging from claims he's near death after heart surgery to suggestions he's been seen walking around a resort. But he has not been seen publicly since reports of his ill health emerged. US intelligence agents are monitoring all of those developing details. The driver's been charged with attempted murder after this extraordinary attack. That is a sergeant major from Thailand's traffic police clinging to the bonnet of a car. The driver's accused of ramming into him, then driving on for close to 2 kilometres. As the officer clung on, he eventually leapt clear when the car slowed down. The officer initially tried to stop the driver after he'd nudged his police bike. A paraglider's had one rough landing, bouncing off a pine tree and crashing into someone's yard. Vance Sharp's GoPro was rolling, as you can see there, all the time. He fell at least 18 metres. Neighbours rushed in to call paramedics for the badly injured glider. He has head injuries, a broken arm, bruised lungs and a week on, no idea what happened. Well, we're all marking Anzac Day in isolation, and for many old soldiers it's been a difficult day. Next, we meet the Vietnam veteran who's built his very own Shrine of Remembrance. Also, a high-speed crash in Western Sydney leaves 4 people seriously hurt. Just kidding, Donald Trump defends his controversial disinfectant claims. And still ahead, the flight path dedicated to a very special veteran. That's next.
Hello.
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 I've chosen
My
housemates. Now,
I'm ready to play.
Hi guys, Dan and Steph here from My Kitchen Rules and Eat at Dan and Steph's in Harvey Bay, and we hope you're doing really well at home in ISO and finding your routine. We've spent a lot of time in the kitchen together and we love coming up with recipes. And today's recipe, thanks to Coles, is sausage stuffed capsicums.
We've got 2 different elements to this dish, one being the sauce and one being the stuffed capsicums. We've got the same veggies in both. We've got garlic, onions, carrots. We've got the tops of the capsicums and tomatoes. So just divvy up evenly.
Okay, now we've got the vegetables all chopped up. The next step is preparing the capsicums. So all you need to do is chop the tops off and take out the core and clean it on the inside.
Our next step is to make the sausage filling for the capsicums. Very easy. Got some olive oil in the pan. Couple of tablespoons. We're going to add some dried oregano, some smoked paprika, a little hit of pepper, handful of my old mate Old Harrow Holt, the salt. Once we've mixed that through, we'll add the tomatoes. We're just going to let that cook down and reduce, and then we're going to cool it straight away so we can add it to our sausages and rice. All right, so we got our sausages and parsley in. We've got our 2 cups of cooked rice. We've got our saucy mixture. Goes in. This is the fun part. We're now going to stuff our capsicums. So we've got all our ingredients. We're going to chuck them all together, give them a good mix. This is where we get the kids in the kitchen, get their hands in there, get them all nice and dirty, and let's have some fun. Just got to spoon this mixture in, make sure they're nice and full. Time to make our sauce. Come with me. Hot pan, couple of tablespoons of olive oil, veggies in.
Next step with the sauce.
Tomatoes in. I've got 3 cups of chicken stock. And then we're going to let that simmer for about 15 minutes. Our secret recipe, guys, honey. Good squirt, about 3 tablespoons. Now with the sour cream. I think it needs a touch of salt and a little bit of pepper.
All right, guys, we've nearly finished every single step. What we need to do is get that beautiful sauce into a really big pot.
Then we can put our capsicums in. We put the lid on, in the oven, 180 degrees, 30 minutes. Time to get these capsicums out of the oven. So we want to get the mozzarella in there and get it all melted over, and then we're going to top it with some grated parmesan as well. All right, let's get the lid back on this, get it back in the oven and let it do its thing. 20 to 25 minutes, 180 degrees, dinner served. Let's see what we got.
So there we have it, guys. What's for dinner in our household thanks to Coles? Sausage stuffed capsicums. I'm sure that the whole family will love it. Enjoy and look after yourselves.
Well, this Anzac Day has been one like no other for our veterans. For many, it's a time to reconnect with mates as they remember the courage and sacrifices of their service. Today, they found new ways to reflect and remember.
We will remember them.
Memories so precious for Vietnam veteran John Shields laid out and laid bare on his front lawn.
Because I can't march past the cenotaph. This is my cenotaph. I want people to know the suffering.
He was conscripted as a stretcher bearer and to fight, but first he had to make peace with an enemy the world is grappling with today: isolation.
In my mind, I was on my own. I had no one.
96-year-old World War II pilot Charlie Sneesby spent Anzac Day at his nursing home in quarantine.
It's always been a family day, and I'm going to miss that terribly.
Instead, he shared a solemn minute of silence through glass.
Sorry I didn't get to hug you yesterday.
Couldn't do it.
I know.
Not allowed.
Reg Chard, 96, one of just 2 remaining soldiers from the Kokoda track.
It's a terrible thing. It never goes away. We're all different.
Each year he spends Anzac Day at home in quiet reflection. He has never marched.
I get upset, so I've never ever been to one since I came out of the army in 1945.
Their memories are treasures, and today John Shields was so eager for them to live on, he was giving them away to people who stopped to pay their respects. This is John right before his tent was hit by shrapnel from an artillery shell in Vietnam. Brave soldiers who have stared down death with some sober advice for battles ahead.
Don't panic.
Keep calm and carry on. Serena Andaloro, 7 News.
A woman is fighting for life after the car she was in collided with a B-double truck in Sydney's inner west. Emergency crews found the woman trapped, suffering critical head and chest injuries. 3 other passengers were also seriously hurt. The driver of the truck was not injured and is undergoing mandatory testing. A 6-year-old boy and a woman have been stabbed in Sydney's west in a suspected domestic violence attack. It happened around midnight at a unit on Belmore Street in North Parramatta. The 27-year-old woman and child were taken to hospital, both in a stable condition. A 31-year-old man handed himself into police just after 2 a.m. Well, Donald Trump today tried to claim he was being sarcastic when he asked doctors whether disinfectant could be used to treat coronavirus. The remark caused companies like Dettol to issue urgent warnings as America's virus death toll soared again.
Clarifying his comments in the Oval Office.
I was asking a very sarcastic question.
Donald Trump claimed he was joking when he said this.
Then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside? I was asking a question sarcastically to reporters like you just to see what would happen.
What did happen was widespread backlash.
The president is not listening to medical experts, and I don't know which ones he is listening to, if any.
The manufacturer of Dettol even releasing a statement saying under no circumstance should its products be administered into the human body.
I think he just saw the information at the time, immediately before the press conference, and he was still digesting that information.
Coronavirus is everywhere here in New York, and so is the hunger. With millions out of work, lines at food banks like this one have never been longer. The need never greater. 13-year-old Saul Flores queuing outside his own school.
In school, they teach us about epidemics and stuff like that, and then living in one is really terrifying.
Collecting food for his family out of work and quarantining at home.
We're getting worried about how much, if it's going to be enough.
In Atlanta, the lines were at the Speedway. Georgia, one of 3 states cautiously joining the race to reopen. In New York, Ashley Mullaney, 7 News.
Charities are under increasing pressure to help those doing it tough during the crisis. Next, the businesses, large and small, stepping up to keep the help flowing. Also, why the Premier's back-to-school plan is being labelled unfair. From the bush to the beach, how Australians came together apart on this unique Anzac Day.
Warm and sunny today, warm tomorrow, but a change is closing. Details soon.
You slept with my brother, you covered it up for 20 odd years, and my daughter might be his.
What if he's not my dad?
I'll always be your dad and you'll always be my daughter.
Who is that anyway?
I told you to stay away.
Home and Away, weeknights at 7.
We know you've always worked hard for your money. In these uncertain economic times, who do you trust to protect your wealth? Invest with La Trobe Financial, Australia's multi-award winning wealth manager and leading credit specialist. Trusted by Australians for more than 60 years.
Upload's that way, OR's the other way. What do you want to do?
Upload.
Anytime you need me, I'll be here for you.
In-app purchase required.
I'm not even supposed to be here.
You think I wanted to fall into the Grand Canyon?
I saw that video. You dabbed on the way down.
That's how you hit the lights.
With McDelivery, Macca's comes to you contact-free. This weekend, get free delivery on orders $25 or more via the Uber Eats app with promo code MACCASLOVE.
Get AHM hospital cover from only $15.75 a week. It's that easy, so you can get back to doing whatever it is you like to do. Even that. Find out more and join AHM Direct today. AHM, the simple bit.
Natural gas makes the fire that makes even the most ordinary cook more of an expert.
Barry?
Yeah, buddy.
Sorry, what?
Natural gas. Once you've got it, you'll get it.
The Nick Scali Autumn Sale is on now. Save on a great range of quality furniture for a limited time. The Nick Scali Autumn Sale on now.
Ornamental side pipes. Incredibly shiny rims. Glitter-dusted grille and hot sculpture. You'll find none of this on the new Skoda Kodiaq RS. With a bi-turbocharged engine that packs a serious punch, this is performance that's not for show. Skoda, simply clever.
We Australians have been through a lot. Drought,
floods,
bushfires, and now this. In the toughest times,
we always seem to find a way
to push through.
We still need your help.
Stay at home.
We're doing great.
We can't stop now. We will get through this.
Because that's just what us Aussies do.
Teachers are warning the government's plan to get kids back in the classroom on a part-time basis will put Year 12 state school students at a disadvantage. With many independent schools planning to reopen full-time in mid-May, the Teachers' Union says private students could end up having twice as much face-to-face learning as their state school counterparts. As we now know, HSC exams will go ahead as planned with the results due in mid-December. An Aussie pilot has created one spectacular Anzac tribute. Have a look at this. This is his flight path over Victoria this morning in the shape of the Rising Sun logo. Michael Smith's the grandson of a World War II veteran. This morning's pre-dawn flight was a special dedication.
I had my Anzac cookies packed for sustenance. I used a compass and a stopwatch. I wanted to navigate the way they did in the 1940s.
Fantastic effort. Well, he says after not being able to attend a dawn service today, he just decided to isolate in the sky. One of the unexpected and heartwarming impacts of the global pandemic is the surge in acts of kindness as charities struggled to support those in need during the lockdown. Many companies also doing it tough have come forward to provide vital assistance and supplies on the front line.
They usually brew up a cuppa for customers, but this Parramatta cafe is now paying it forward with food.
There's some people that are working at the moment that are on the front line. They're putting their lives at danger. You know, they're keeping us safe.
The Shed Parramatta today distributed the first 100 meals to frontline workers at local ambulance and police stations.
It makes a real difference to us, and we really do appreciate it.
Thanks for everything that you do for us. You know, you go back to the bushfires, and it's just about community and everyone just trying to help.
Companies, small and large, are keen to link their brands to those helping those most in need. BHP has donated $2 million to the Royal Flying Doctor Service. Kellogg's has donated nearly 400,000 bowls of cereal to city missions. And Glen 20 has partnered with Meals on Wheels, which has seen demand jump between 50 and 100%. This kind of giving is bringing some welcome relief to charities, which have been hit with a huge surge in demand they're struggling to meet. The government has eased access to the JobKeeper payments for charities, but still many say they're at breaking point. Charities relying heavily on volunteers have taken a big hit as the lockdown forces them to rethink how they deliver services.
We're urging all to play their part to help to respond. Government, business and the charitable sector is doing everything it can to respond as well.
One long-term reform may be streamlined volunteer registers to reduce red tape and keep charities on the move. Brian Seymour, 7 News.
There's no doubt this Anzac Day has been like no other in our lifetime, but it has not stopped Australians paying their respects to our diggers, past and present. We're going to take a very special look at how Sydney came together apart to remember them. Don't miss that. Very special story soon here on 7 News. But first, Jim Wilson's here with Sport. Jim, good evening to you.
G'day, Michael.
No Anzac Day footy, of course, but still a great show of respect from our sports stars.
Yeah, sure was, Michael. Good evening to you. Evening, everyone. Coming up, special tributes from a range of sports on such a significant day, from rugby league and racing to the lone bugler at the MCG. We remember those who sacrificed so much. While our cricketers reflect on a moving visit to Gallipoli, those pictures from Anzac Cove are next.
Why don't you?
What?
Make a musical.
Hollywood legends Gene Kelly.
Which of my pictures have you seen?
And Debbie Reynolds.
She's irresistible. She told me so herself.
Are dancing up a storm in the must-see musical, Singing in the Rain, tonight on 7 Flicks.
At Harvey Norman, our stores are open, with teams practicing social distancing to keep our community safe. Buy now on 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card up to the value of $300. Shop for essential tech to keep working, a new appliance, or a bigger sofa or better mattress to make staying home more comfortable. Shop in-store or online, with both click and collect and delivery available. Take advantage of 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card until Tuesday only.
Go!
Out there in the universe, stars are born every day. Closer to home in Compton, Western Victoria, a star is born every second. For over 93 years, Our people have put their passion and dedication into creating something bright and brilliant. Not just butter, but a star. Western Star. More than butter.
At Domino's, our first priority is the health and safety of our team members and customers. That's why we are now offering zero contact delivery, so you can get any large pizza from $15 delivered with total peace of mind.
Can care be better at home?
Someone from Medibank mentioned that there's a chance I can do rehab at home.
I said, oh, how much extra is that going to cost?
And they said, no, you've got it in your hospital cover. It just was fantastic for me.
A lot of people have sensitive teeth, but gum health is really important as well. If you've got sensitive teeth, you should be looking for something to help with the sensitivity, but you should also be thinking about, do I need to look after my gums? Using the new Sensodyne Sensitivity and Gum toothpaste not only deals with sensitivity, it also maintains gum health when used twice a day, every day. I think it's fantastic to have a dual action toothpaste. 2 benefits with the one toothpaste. What a great idea.
Cookie people, cream people, crumbs people, clean people, twist people, lick people, dunk people, munch people. It's on the play, people. If you twist, lick, dunk, then you're my people. We are Oreo people.
When your functional digestive symptoms bring you down, choose Iberogast. Its combination of 9 medicinal herbs is clinically proven to relieve multiple digestive symptoms. Iberogast, herbal power that works.
Tonight at 7 p.m, they lied about their age to serve in World War II. Tonight, the incredible story of Australia's boy soldiers. That's 7 p.m. on the latest from 7 News.
Welcome back, everyone. It didn't have the fanfare of his arrival at Redfern, and the Rabbitohs have extended Latrell Mitchell's contract. Despite his slow start as a bunny, Latrell's locked in for the 2021 season. Now, the NRL will announce a new structure for the May 28 restart this week, and Chairman Peter V'landys says it won't be dictated to by broadcasters.
As a good partner, you sit down and you listen to them, but ultimately the decision rests with the NRL, and we will make that decision in consultation with the players and the clubs.
With no Anzac Day footy this year, players showed their respect from home, including the Knights in Newcastle.
Paying our respects to those fallen and also those still serving. Thank you.
The Gay Waterhouse Adrian Bott Dream Autumn and Carnival continued this afternoon at Rosehill Gardens in Sydney. There was a special Anzac Day wreath-laying ceremony as the racing world paid their respects. The outstanding campaign of Waterhouse and Bott rolled on in the Hawkesbury Guineas, and it was an emphatic performance by Dawn Passage.
But it's all Dawn Passage. Dawn Passage races away with the Hawkesbury Guineas, won it by almost 3 lengths to...
In the Hawkesbury Cup, Amangiri, ridden by Tommy Berry, beat home. How about this for a name, everyone? I should have copyrighted this. Live and Free. There you go, eh? The AFL will announce in a fortnight when their season will restart, and the push continues for a Sydney isolation hub. The Giants and the Swans are united in making the plan become reality, with clubs to use Sydney Olympic Park as their base. There are several quarantine hubs being considered by the AFL, including Adelaide and Perth. The Swans and Giants say the Olympics experience in 2000 makes Sydney the ideal location for an isolation hub.
If you look at accommodation for one, the amount of resources in Sydney Olympic Park is in particular very good. We've got a lot of ground that are within close proximity.
The AFL is expected to announce on May 10 their plans for a season restart. Today, there would have been a crowd of around 100,000 at the MCG for the traditional Anzac Day game between Collingwood and Essendon. There was no footy, but the Anzac spirit was so powerful. Inaugural Giants coach Kevin Sheedy was instrumental in pioneering Anzac Day football 25 years ago. Lone bugler John Mansfield sent shivers down his spine today.
Might just give you more time, rather than sport being slightly in the picture, to really spend a little bit more time about what these men and women have gone through in these war zones.
It really helps with the gratitude piece that we need at the moment more than ever, that we are so fortunate for the liberties we have. We have to fight hard and people have to pay the ultimate sacrifice.
Cricket is set for a radical rule change to adapt to a world with coronavirus. The old method of shining the ball with a spit and polish clearly doesn't meet new health standards, but the bowlers are worried.
If you didn't
maintain the ball at all for 80 overs, it become quite easily to bat.
The International Cricket Council has listened. They're set to legalise the use of artificial substances for shining the ball. David Warner is clearly missing cricket, but making the most of his extra family time to become a star on the TikTok app. There we go, the Warner clan. Tonight we can show you something pretty special from the Australian cricket team's visit to Gallipoli last year. They arrived by boat, like the Anzacs, and were given lessons in mateship, respect and honour on the way to the World Cup and Ashes.
We know that wealth and the size of a country doesn't matter, but what really matters is the character of its citizens, the character of people that represent it.
Mateship, it's the reason why I play cricket. It's about going above and beyond to care after a mate.
That's from an episode of the Fly on the Wall documentary, The Test. A week on from an extraordinary training feat, the athletics world is still buzzing about Australia's Michael Roger. The hot favourite for Paralympic marathon gold is on a mission to prove anything's possible, and creating Olympic history at Paris 2024 is a realistic chance.
To beat lockdown, the running bug has spread rapidly across the country. For inspiration, here's one of Australian sport's great blokes.
It's funny, I used to know every runner in my suburb in Canberra. Now there's so many new runners and walkers out there, it's fantastic.
This is just a light recovery run for Michael Roger.
I've had the marathon date for Tokyo in my head for the last 4 years, and I really feel mentally and physically ready this year for the Games.
He should have run the Boston Marathon last weekend too. Instead, Rogues did it in Canberra, unannounced and stunning.
These are the type of things you need to do to keep motivated. But what an amazing run.
No taper, no carb loading, no competition, just mates for moral support.
Come on, Rakes.
The time, 2 hours 23, 4 minutes short of the T46 world record he's broken 3 times from 3 attempts.
I think I could have ran something pretty special in Boston, to be honest.
Still just 31, sub 2:15 and Paralympic gold are next targets. What then? The Olympic qualifiers 2:11:30, Paris 2024's right at Roger's peak. Nobody's ever done both.
Because he's on such an improvement curve, Matt, you would never know where that could end. I love the thought that we would have him running in the Olympic team.
That show of faith from a man who made it 4 times. Coach Philo Saunders knows too.
I'm very fortunate. A lot of people believe in me, and Philo reckons I can, touch the stars.
Roger's running there. Matt Carmichael, 7 News.
Great story. It's amazing the lengths some people will go to get their sporting fix, like these surfers who have made the trip to the Lofoten archipelago in northern Norway just to catch some waves in the Arctic waters.
But also there's no sharks. I'm from South Africa. There's plenty of sharks there. There's no sharks here.
Well, that's a good thing, isn't it? Norway has pretty relaxed lockdown laws compared to the rest of Europe and has become a surprise surfing hub. So we can talk about Bell's Beach, we can talk about Hawaii and the pipeline, now we can talk about Norway. I'll tell you what, we showed these images, or this image, for the first time on Sunrise this morning, Michael. I mean, it's eerie, isn't it? But gee, it's powerful as we say thank you to the servicemen and women who have just sacrificed so much.
Oh, it's extraordinary. I mean, as we said at the beginning of the bulletin too, Jim, a day of pride. I mean, the character and gratitude that's been shown today in new ways has been amazing. Jim?
Yeah, we owe them so much, Michael.
Indeed. All right, thank you for that.
OK.
There's been a happy ending for an entangled grey whale. That one there, thanks to the care of a dedicated rescue team. It was spotted caught in a stray fishing net off Washington State, close to the Canadian border. We're told the team spent hours cutting it free, then followed it for a while to ensure that it was all good and healthy. We've certainly seen some very special scenes today. Families everywhere heeding the call to find unique ways to honour our veterans in this very unique time. Plenty of viewers sent in incredible videos on a day that we will not forget.
Australians all, lest we forget those who were so young, who have made us so free. Fathers and sons, mothers and daughters, sisters and brothers, who gave their lives for this country and the people they loved.
It's in the minds, in the hearts.
2020 Anzac Day, very special, probably a once-in-a-lifetime thing that won't ever happen again.
Quite special because everyone paid their respects.
We will remember them.
David is back now and he has the very latest forecast. Brownie, stunning today. What about tomorrow?
Oh, yeah, unbelievable, Michael. Yes, another warm day is in the wind, but a change is closing fast. Your forecast straight after the break.
Are you excited? Are you excited? Oh, see, stop breathing for a second.
All his life, he's had a dream.
Find a wife, forget the life.
Find a wife, get the life. Get a house fit for a king, and he'll get his queen. This is amazing. This is it. Sydney's whole house reveal.
You hit the bloody jackpot. Congratulations, mate.
It'll be unpredictable.
Ooh, what is this?
Because you just never know with them. They might walk in and be like, yeah, it's all right. Or Leif might be like, oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
It'll make history.
Oh, no.
As the best transformation ever.
Screams VIP.
For distinguished gentlemen like us.
But there's only one opinion that matters.
Are you talking to me? There's nobody else around. You must be talking to me.
What will Mum think?
I'm shaking. I'm really shaking. I'm so happy for you.
Don't miss the incredible whole house reveal on House Rules on 7. The whole house reveal. Sunday at 7 on 7.
At Domino's, we pride ourselves on handcrafted pizzas, but after leaving our 265-degree ovens, the only hands that touch them are yours. Try any large pizza from just $15 delivered with zero contact delivery from Domino's.
Cookie people, cream people, crumbs people, clean people, twist people, lick people, dunk people, munch people. It's on the play, people. If you twist, lick, dunk, then you're my people. We are Oreo people.
Because sometimes it's more than just growing pains. Bupa offers an online program to help you manage your mental well-being. Bupa, because life happens. Call today.
And I get 5 years cap price servicing with my new Corolla.
Well, they're impressed.
We're here to keep you moving forward. That's why our Toyota dealerships and service centres are still open. Older feeling. Toyota.
As credit to you, here's up to $120 credit from us. Add any selected month-to-month mobile plan with Vodafone and get the credit you deserve over 12 months. Find out more at vodafone.com.au. Ready?
The Nick Scali Autumn Sale is on now. Save on a great range of quality furniture for a limited time. The Nick Scali Autumn Sale on now.
At Chemist Warehouse, your health is our priority, and the safety and well-being of the community is our primary focus. That's why we offer same-day, contact-free home delivery for all prescriptions and essential healthcare. If you need your script filled, simply phone your local store to book your contact-free same-day home delivery. To find your local store, call 1300 734 876. Chemist Warehouse, always here for you.
The silver lining to COVID chaos. We reveal surprising ways it's making our world better. From clear air to lower crime, the new push bike boom, and now the home cook revolution.
Welcome to Kitchen Quarantine.
What's next? Plus, cruises post-corona, the major overhaul to make it virus safe for the future. And as the new day breaks, the breaking news.
New developments on the coronavirus.
The critical announcements are all on Sunrise.
Next on the latest, New York paramedics take us behind the front lines of their fight to save lives in the epicentre of the pandemic. A must-see on the latest from 7 News.
This weather report brought to you by Chemist Warehouse. Contact-free home delivery now available. Shop online or in-store today.
Tonight's 7 News headlines. Sydney commemorates an Anzac Day like no other as diggers and families lit up the dawn from home. Anzac Day services around the nation went ahead today, but without the usual crowds. From Anzac Cove at Gallipoli to the battlefields of the Western Front, sacred sites were eerily empty. And there are fears of a new COVID-19 outbreak at a nursing home in the Blue Mountains after a health worker tested positive. Now, here's David with Sydney's weather.
Thanks very much, Michael. Perfect conditions for Anzac Day in the city and throughout the state for that matter. And it was warm too. In fact, there's our forecast top today, just shy of 25 degrees. Leading up to midday, the low was 14.5 degrees, close to sunrise. Into the suburbs, you'll notice mid to high 20s were popular. Of course, that all happened under a clear blue sky and just a gentle northerly breeze. As we go to the satellite, atmospheric pressure is now starting to fall across our state. Winds are now out of the north. There is a change approaching from the west, and of course, this is it. That said, the bulk of the wet weather is expected to slip over Victoria. For us, we might see some good falls about the western slopes of the southern ranges. Just the odd teasing drop is likely in our backyard very, very late in the day. Around the nation tomorrow, of course, in this cold air, it will be cold in Melbourne with rain gradually easing to a few showers, a top of around 18 degrees. Warm and sunny in Brisbane. On the other side of that change, our forecast top is 28 degrees. For Perth, it should be dry and generally sunny and a top of around 25 degrees. Statewide, we're now tracking areas of patchy rain sweeping in from the west associated with that prefrontal trough. As I mentioned earlier, some good falls are likely along the southern ranges and the adjoining western slopes, potentially up to 20 millimetres. Temperature-wise, it will be a warm day ahead of that change. For us, this is what we're expecting for your Sunday. Yes, fine, warm conditions for most of the day. Clouds starting to increase, might see the odd shower or two after 6 o'clock. That activity happening near the coast and not a lot of rain. To our coastal waters forecast, this is it. We'll have northwesterly winds running around 15 to 20 knots for most of the day. Westerly change coming in very, very late. For the city, warm tomorrow. It will be a sunny morning. Cloud increasing. Might see a shower or two, probably after 6 o'clock in the evening. Top there of 27 degrees. As for the next 7 days, much cooler on Monday. A few passing showers. And I think we'll see more unsettled weather to take us through, right through until Friday. That's the latest weather, Michael.
Terrific, Brownie. Thank you for that. And that is 7 News for this special Anzac Day. The latest is next, and Weekend Sunrise is from 7 a.m. I'm Michael Usher. From all of us here, thank you so much for your company. Have a great night.